Hello, welcome to English 1 Accel. My name is Ms. Quane and I'll be your child's English teacher this year. Let's get started. So in today's virtual open house presentation, I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me, my teaching philosophy, and then we're going to get into the course and our unit studies over the course of this year. And we'll finish our presentation with grading practices and contact information so that we can stay in touch. So a little bit about me. This year marks my third year of teaching at LT after graduating from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Go Illini. I grew up in Skokie, Illinois in the northern suburbs of Chicago and went to Niles North High School. And while at LT, I've taught English 1 Accel, IPC, which stands for Interpersonal Communication, English 2 Prep, and I'll also be teaching English 2 Honors next semester in addition to English 1 Accel. I also coach the LTHS speech team, so if your child loves to talk and is interested in speaking and performing, please encourage them to reach out as we're starting auditions soon. I'm also currently pursuing a master's in literacy education to be a certified reading specialist, and I'm hoping to finish that up in about a year and a half. So in terms of my teaching philosophy, I really value social and emotional learning in the classroom. I really try and build my lessons around getting to know students and building community. So this comes from the idea that we learn best in an environment in which we feel seen, heard, and appreciated. And that is something that I really strive to work for each day, is to make my students feel seen, heard, and appreciated not only by me, but also by their peers. The second pillar of my teaching philosophy really stems from that growth mindset, which is something that LT is very passionate about. It's the idea that we learn from failure and that knowledge is not fixed. It grows with time, practice, and dedication to learning. And you'll see that our grading policies really reflect this. And finally, I really value self-advocacy. Students are encouraged to reach out with questions, schedule appointments with me, check their email, check our Canvas page, and ask for help when needed. So moving into the course, what will we do this year? This is an English class, so we'll be reading, writing, and discussing together, even in a virtual format, which we're in this quarter. So we'll read a variety of fiction and essays. We'll also write several essays, including some personal reflections. We do a lot of journal work in English 1 Accel. And we'll also have small group discussions and whole class discussions in the form of, right now, breakout rooms, but hopefully soon we'll be able to be back in the classroom and talking together. In terms of our unit studies, we start the year with short stories. We just read Fish Cheeks by Amy Tan last week, so we're getting the ball rolling with our short story unit. Then we move into Romeo and Juliet, and we use both the graphic novel and the traditional text for this unit. Starting second semester, we do the Odyssey and poetry, and again, we use the graphic novel as well as the traditional text. Towards the end of the year, we move into Frankenstein, where students do a lot of research and synthesis writing. And then we finish the year with memoir literature circles, where students have the opportunity to choose a book of their choice based on the selections presented and kind of form book clubs with other people in the class. Students will also read several independent reading books throughout the semester. Students should have already picked out their independent reading book that they're going to start with. The LT library is also passing out books to students via curbside pickup. So if your child ever needs access to the LT library or our books there, please fill out the book request form, which can be found on this presentation and also on the LT website under student resources. So in terms of skills, we begin with short stories where we really practice analyzing characters. So we talk a lot about personality traits, about indirect versus direct characterization. And then we build on that by moving into some more sophisticated literary analysis in Romeo and Juliet, looking at literary terms and how they contribute to the author's purpose. Second semester, we work with Odyssey, the Odyssey, and poetry. We do a lot of narrative writing with the Odyssey unit, so students will have the opportunity to get more personal and really share their stories. And they do this in poetry as well. Towards the end of the year, when we work on Frankenstein, we do a lot of research and synthesis writing where students are working with nonfiction texts. And then we finished the year with memoir lit circles and the study of memoir. In terms of our technology, this is probably going to look very similar to your child's other classes. So we use Google Drive constantly. Students have already set this up, and they should have an English 1 Accel folder in their Google Drive already to kind of help them stay organized. We use Canvas, and so if your child is absent or confused as to what needs to be done, tell them to go to Canvas, because this is really their home base for their time at LT. And then finally, Infinite Campus is how we input grades. So Infinite Campus provides information on grades, schedules, and services at LT. Grades are official on Infinite Campus, although I do leave all of my written feedback on Canvas. Throughout the year, we also might use some of these fun technology tools like Padlet and Pear Deck, which we've been using recently in class, just to get students to engage more with the lesson, even in a virtual setting, so that these lessons are a little bit more interactive and I can quickly assess whether or not students are with me or maybe need some more information from me to catch up. I also use my Wheel of Greatness, and this is a way for me to kind of cold call on students to make sure that everybody has a chance to make their voice heard during the lesson. In terms of Canvas for parents, I think it's really important for you to log in as a parent on Canvas and become an observer on Canvas so that you can see what we're working on and how your student's doing in the course. And you can do this by entering your student's username on the Canvas login screen, and then you can view but not participate in your student's courses. Our grading practices really reflect that idea of growth mindset. So our formative assessments, otherwise known as the practice that we do together to make sure that students are prepared for the summative assessment, are worth 0% of your student's overall grade. And this is because we don't want them to view practice as punishment. We want them to feel like they can make mistakes without it negatively impacting their grade. But it's important that even though this doesn't technically count towards the grade, that your students engaging in this practice so that they're prepared when we do have a summative, which as you can see is worth 100%. The formative assessments will likely determine your student's grade on the summative. So if they're not engaging in that practice, they might struggle a little bit more with that final assessment. The nice thing about our summative assessments is that they can be revised if a student sets up an appointment to meet with me and review their feedback. Students have 2 weeks from their day of getting feedback from me to set up an appointment and revise for a new grade. And I've also left our Infinite Campus flags towards the bottom left, so you can see what all of these flags mean in Infinite Campus, because sometimes you'll notice that I'll attach a flag to a grade or to an assignment in case it's missing or incomplete or late, so on and so forth. So how can you support your student this year during their freshman year at LT when things are really crazy at the beginning of the year especially? I would encourage you to encourage your student to revise their written work. Really any work, any summative work that we do in the class can be revised. So I hope that they take those opportunities when they feel that it will benefit them. I also encourage you to be involved in your students' learning as much as you can be. Ask questions about what we're doing in class, proofread their essays, ask about their reading experience, and see what they're noticing about the text, especially with their independent reading because they've selected those books on their own. You can also encourage your student to use the Canvas homepage. This is where they should go if they're absent. All of my weekly plans are located on the homepage, and the full calendar, so if your student wants to see what we did 6 weeks ago, they can go to the full calendar in our modules section. I'd also encourage you to motivate students to read outside of class. They should read about 10 to 20 minutes a night to start building reading stamina. So that's all for our presentation today. I know it felt really short, but if you'd like to contact me, know that I'm available Tuesday through Friday and Monday through Friday, all day after school. And you can contact me by email at mquane@lths.net. Have a great rest of your day.